Do you search for vintage patterns and notions at your local op shop? Tina Watts, or Vintage Tina as she's known on Instagram, finds useful fabrics and notions to sew her own vintage clothes. That includes hats. Hi, I'm Maria Theohara Silvello Sews on social media. This is the Jukebox series featuring Sew Over 50 sewers who love sewing their own vintage clothes. You'll find that using existing materials is an important part of sewing your own vintage looks. Tina Watts, or Vintage Tina, as she's known on Instagram, is a favourite vintage sewist of Instagram of many people, and today we get to find out more about her sewing life and how vintage patterns fuel her sewing projects. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Tina.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You inspire a lot of people with all of your vintage makes, including myself.
Oh, thank you.
I still remember the outfit that you wore at Brisbane Frock Tales, which was the V&A pattern that they had put out.
Yes, the Georgie dress.
That's it.
Yeah, black and white striped. I've hardly worn that, and I was actually thinking of doing it as part of a photo shoot later on because I just never get to wear them.
I think you've got the hair going, you've got the makeup, and also the hats and shoes. Like, you've got the whole ensemble.
I've gone into hats lately because they really do make a vintage outfit. You put a hat on and it just adds so much more. And I started making hats and, I thought it had to be the felt hat and the, steaming. And I went and did a course. And then I realized there's so many actual patterns for fabric hats. So I've started doing them lately, and they're not that difficult. And my husband joked that he had to get another hat stand for me. And I said, well, I have to have a hat for every dress. You do realize that. So, yes, my hat collection is growing.
And you've given him the right criteria to come up with the right hat stand too.
Absolutely. I've already got 3 hat stands, so we will add to that. Yeah, also I have to wear hats when I'm outside because I've had skin cancers on my head, and being in a very hot, sunny climate, I have to have my head covered all the time. So it's a hat or an umbrella.
And that really adds to the whole vintage part of Vintage Tina too.
Absolutely. So you may as well have fun while you're covering your head. So
if you want to hear the full podcast, you'll find it fast as part of the Jukebox series of podcasts I've been recording since 2019. Many thanks to Tina for allowing me to reuse her podcast for this Jukebox series of people who sew their own vintage clothes. Many thanks for the ongoing support of our podcast Patreon contributors. Their ongoing support each month enables me to develop this podcast for free. We look forward to joining you in your sewing room next time. Stay safe, everyone.